Okay, let's get started.
Just raise your glasses high. This one's for
Turtle time.
Shia LaBeouf must be a method actor because he's pulling a full-blown Claudio Pulcher from Megalopolis on the streets of New Orleans. That's right, Claudio Pulcher is alive and well within Shia LaBeouf because just like that character, Shia LaBeouf has been drinking tons of wine and punching people in the face for days. He's been punching people for so many days now, and it looks like it's not coming to an end anytime soon. Amy, you just went to New Orleans. What can the city do to stop this nightmare from unfolding on their streets?
Oh my God, he's ruining Mardi Gras. I heard that one of the bartenders, he kept demanding to use his credit card at a cash-only place, and they were like, "Go dig holes, bitch."
Yeah, it's horrible. The news that's coming out, it's still festering and bubbling as we speak. Apparently at the parade, everybody who walked by, he tried to punch in the face one by one. And he's just screaming and punching, and there's no end in sight. The city doesn't know what to do because every time they try to go grab him, he runs into the parade of people and disappears for a few hours. And then he comes back wearing some of their costumes and stuff. And it's just, the city doesn't know what to do. He's unstoppable right now.
This is like when Ezra Miller was terrorizing Hawaii.
It's exactly right. It reminds me, I don't know why I'm so compelled by these awful stories of these nightmare people who just wreak havoc on cities. So I don't know what to do about that. Like, what the hell? Shia LaBeouf, what
Man.
compels you to do this?
How the mighty have fallen. I was the biggest Shia stan in the world for a good few years in the early aughts.
Oh, I loved him in Holes. I started watching Megadoc, which I was going to text you about.
Yeah.
You gotta start watching it. We'll watch it together someday. But he has this, Shia LaBeouf is talking to John Voight, and he's like, "This was my mentor. I used to love this guy so much, and now we kind of have these fights between us or whatever." And I was like, how do John Voight and Shia LaBeouf know each other? And then I was like, oh my God, from Holes. John Voight must have taken Shia LaBeouf under his wings on Holes, and like they've been friends ever since or something. So a lot of good stuff in that Megadoc. But even John Voight can't stop Shia LaBeouf. I heard that he was on the grounds of New Orleans trying to contain him, but even he won't listen to his former mentor right now.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they do need to put him in a hole.
I agree completely. And if he was in that movie Holes, he'd be digging a bunch of holes at that camp right now. I mean, he would be getting some of the punishment that those boys get. Do you remember? They dig holes in that movie.
He needs that, what's that called, where you go to camp to get disciplined.
Yeah, he needs discipline camp. I mean, he should know more than anyone. Like, hey, remember when I did that full movie about the boys who have to dig a bunch of holes in the?
And there's like onions.
I never really. Yeah, there's onions. Kissing Kate Barlow. Of course, I'll never forget. Remember? Yeah, of course, we talked about this because Sally Carson was kissing Kate Barlow.
Right.
But Holes is definitely, I don't know, there's definitely some major Holes stuff going on in the universe. But I never really liked Shia LaBeouf, to be honest. Even in Transformers, and what was the...
Disturbia? Eagle Eye?
I never saw Disturbia. I never saw Eagle Eye. And I didn't even really like him in my favorite Lars von Trier film. What was that one called where it was 2 parts? Do you remember Lars von Trier and people... Lars... It was
Like,
Nymphomaniac, part 1 and part 2.
I've never seen it.
Oh.
Charlotte Gainsbourg?
Oh, yeah. Oh, if you're a Lars von Trier head, you're definitely going to want to watch part 1 and part 2.
Oh my God. I saw Stellan Skarsgård introduce Mamma Mia the other night, and he was like, "This is one of the weirdest movies I've ever been in, and I've been in a lot of Lars von Trier movies."
Really? That's so funny. That's perfect. That's kind of the perfect thing to say if you're going to talk about weird movies. That's great. How was he? Besides
Great.
that?
It was a pretty quick and dirty intro. But he's tall. I don't know why I'm surprised, but he's was towering over the crowd. And he just said that him and the other men, he said that they're sort of the himbos of the movie and that they worked their asses off learning the dances and to sing to not great avail, in his opinion. But I love that movie, even though I think I love the second one more.
Oh, of course. Oh my God. Here we go again, right?
It's
Mamma
the
Mia
best.
2. Oh,
Pure
it's so good. Oh.
distilled joy.
Oh, I told you when we were at at the occasion in which I saw that film with you, I was so, already in the tank. And then when I realized that Andy Garcia, speaking of Andy Garcia, that's a good performance for Andy Garcia. When he goes, I will finally reveal my name. It's Fernando. And then Cher comes out and she starts singing Fernando. I was like, this is my favorite movie of all time. That is the funniest, coolest reveal. And it's so
Cher
beautiful.
drops in on a helicopter as the grandma that you like never knew existed.
Oh, so cool. And Cher serenades Fernando and they dance and sing in the moonlight. Oh my, what a beautiful film.
It's
oh my God.
unbelievable. It's if anyone has never seen it, stop what you're doing right this second.
Yeah, oh my God, go see Mamma Mia. I didn't tell you this, but Penny got for her Yodo player, which is like this thing that plays media from Cars. She got it the ABBA Greatest Hits. So she's basically having Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again parties in her room almost every single day, listening to
That's
Fernando. Yeah. So Mamma Mia to Stellan Skarsgård, back to Lars von Trier, to Shia LaBeouf. Get well soon, Shia LaBeouf. I hope they figure you out.
Bitch.
Get well soon, bitch. Put you in a hole for a couple. You need to take a break. Stop punching. Probably stop drinking. Get the hell out of New Orleans. You obviously can't handle Mardi Gras. Like,
right.
He flopped so hard at participating in Mardi Gras. You know what I mean?
He's ruining the spirit.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'll never forget when. Anyway, I think that's all the celebrity news I think we have for the start of the hour. But there's good Bravo news. You were teeing me up. You were like at the information or with the news desk. You were sliding some papers over my way, and you said, "Look at this, look at this." And so, tell me, what was sort of the front page news for you today?
I watched this morning. Your wife gave us the APB that on Bethenny Frankel's Instagram stories that she was in Palm Beach. And she just went to this random restaurant and she said it was totally dead. No one was there. Then all of a sudden it started to pop off. And guess who walks in? Ramona. She posts a video with Ramona. And then she walks outside and it's Sonja, who wasn't even there to meet Ramona. They just all are haunting this Palm Beach restaurant. And she ran into them completely coincidentally, which was wild.
Could you imagine being there if you and I went to go get our food, at lunch and wherever the hell they are, and all of a sudden those three independently come? Like, oh my God, kind of shocking to imagine.
Ramona seemed a little trepidatious to me in the video. She was like, Bethenny goes, "Is it turtle time?" And she goes, I don't know.
Really? Oh my God.
And then Bethenny's like, "All right, well, let me know." And Ramona's like, "I'll let you know." And she just like walks away.
Oh my God. She was worried.
I was like, she doesn't seem that happy to see you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. And then Sonja was also not even with Ramona and they popped in. That I don't even know what that restaurant was, but they must have good food. Right?
Yeah. I know that I give little Bethenny updates all the time, but the other day I opened my TikTok. I was scrolling through and it was like cat mukbang, Bethenny Frankel with a towel on her head screaming at the viewers of TikTok saying like, "I've had enough. No more of this."
She goes, "You can never cancel me. I'm rich forever." And I was like, "Oh, God damn, what a mindset. Like, you'll never cancel me. Take any word I say out of context. I'm rich beyond your wildest dreams." It was something like that. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, she was like, "I'll go toe to toe with anyone." And I was just like, who are you even talking to? Like, what are you doing? What is the point of any of this? Like, when it gets to the point where you're like in your bathroom with a towel on your head screaming at a straw man, it's like, maybe like log off.
Do you think that she is the perfect example of quite possibly how social media will never replace like television and film? Like, because in all regards, you would think that she has access to a 24/7 Bethenny news channel where she gets to provide updates and try to create entertainment, and it's like hell for her, and it's pure shit. And I loved Bethenny for a really long time in my life. I still think she's top 10 best housewife of all time. But even I don't want to watch any of the shit that she does on social media. I don't care. The bar is so low for the content she's creating. So if anybody could have created some alternative to television using social media, it'd be Bethenny, and she can't do it at all. I'm so disinterested in everything that she brings to the forum. in
Yeah, the
terms of
sharks
social.
are swimming in her comments. I also saw that Kyle Cook, his comments are toast. I feel kind of bad for him. He's
Really?
just everyone's just he can't do anything right. He posted a video the other night of him taking the dog out. You know, it's like
Yeah.
very cold in New York right now. And he was like taking the dog out, quick photo shoot, and the dog is like shivering.
Mhm.
And everyone, there's like 1,000 comments being like, that dog is in distress. Give the dog back to Amanda. What are you thinking? You're
Oh,
torturing the dog.
oh my
And he's
God.
in the replies going like, she usually wears a jacket, but we were just going out to pee for 2 seconds. I know what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay, like when you start to like have to reply to shit like that, it's like, it's not even worth posting anymore. Like, I feel
Yeah.
bad. It's like a lose-lose.
Yeah, he just thought we'd all be like laughing and having, fun. I saw one video where it was him and the dog were sticking their head out of the back of the window, pulling the Joker, in the Joker when Joaquin Phoenix has his head out into the, or maybe it's maybe it was the other Joker, Heath
Joker
Ledger.
does that. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
Heath
thinking of
does
Heath
it.
Ledger
Maybe they
when he's.
both do it.
I think they both do it, and he thought that would be fun, grinning maniacally with Reese's head out the window in that beautiful chill. But now Kyle has a negative lens upon him where he's got an AI filter, and it's negative spin on everything he does. You know what I mean? And so it's going to be a while where he's going to have to be wading through horrible comments, and it's not going to get better for him probably all season until I think the audience gets some sort of a major Amanda update that everything is so good and so perfect with Kyle. Please, let's take it easy on him or something.
Right. Yeah. Carl had to weather this storm. West had to weather this storm. It's Kyle's turn, but yeah, it's dark out there. He's fighting for his life. I saw someone that I had seen the video myself of someone saying, why isn't Kyle clean the goddamn apartment himself? And then he's in the comments and he was like, this is all getting to be a little much.
Oh my God, he said that. Oh my God, he's looking for an oasis. Remember when Wes told Kyle that turtle time is an oasis, right? And we never say anything mean. I don't know. Yeah, what is the impulse to want to, I guess, fight everyone to show that you're a good person? I guess, he just needs to take some time. It's going to be a while, I think, before people view him favorably again.
Yeah, I just can't imagine that it's even worth whatever content, unless you have a promotional obligation or something. I'd be like, I'm just not posting. But I say that as someone who never posts anyways.
I'd post through it. If I was being, pure hatred was being spun toward me, I would just keep posting for my life every single day, a different thing, and try to, ignore it. Because even now, like, he has to post his DJ playing, and then people will be commenting, being like, like, your DJing is so shitty, you should go back, you should have spent more time with Amanda. It's like, well, what can he do? Not post him, ripping it up as a DJ? You just have to keep posting.
Keep on keeping on.
Just keep posting through it. But, I'm Kyle is making me, angry at him, or not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not angry personally. I don't, it's not like a deep thing, but viewing him, I'm like, I have thoughts on what he's doing and how he's making missteps and how he's treating Amanda badly. But I don't think it'll ever get to the point where I would ever be compelled to be like, Kyle, what the hell are you doing? Call me right now and let's talk about this. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not personal.
Frankly, it's probably, thank God, I guess, that they are separated, because maybe his comments would be 10 times worse if the public didn't know that the deed was done, and they would all just be like, to her, like, leave him, and then to him, like, I don't know. I can't tell how different it would be for him. I feel like the result is the same either way, but
we got the moral, what's that called? We got a way to already think of him favorably by the way that Amanda has actually talked about him post Summer House. She's in the future. We're living in the present, seeing his horrible behavior right now as it happens. But Amanda has already, in a way, from her Watch What Happens Live appearances and everything she's ever said to anyone, and that heartfelt speech that Kyle gave, she's giving us the light of the future to look at Kyle in. You know what I mean? So we can just like kind of rest easy knowing that whatever ends up happening between them, Amanda has forgiven him in some capacity. We don't have to spend our time in the darkness.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's not a good use of our time.
No. So you were bringing up, to get back to your original point, which was Kyle posting Reese the dog in the city. That's a really interesting news update. And then before that, we were tying that into Bethenny Frankel on social media, which I think is also really interesting. And I wonder how that lunch went between Ramona and Sonja and her. I bet pretty fun. She also said, she goes, I was just thinking of an ad campaign where I got offered a big ad. And she wouldn't say what it was. And they wanted me to have 2 OGs from RHONY to join me. And I chose Sonja and Ramona. So how serendipitous is this, that fortune would find me in a spot in which those 2 people are with me at this restaurant?
Yes. Fortune laid her hand upon the speaking of OGs, this was going around, you couldn't miss it, that our former first lady Michelle Obama revealed. I already knew that she was a Housewives fan, but I didn't quite know to this degree. She revealed, I think it was on that podcast she has with her brother, that she says she watches them all, she claims. And he asked her for some of her favorite moments, and she sort of struggled to come up with anything particularly niche, but she did celebrate the Teresa Giudice, she said her full name, table flip. She uttered the words prostitution whore. She did an impression of the table and told him about it. She seemed to be like a Jersey head, and she said that she would recommend any episodes around the time of the going to jail. She said that would be good. But I want to know way more. I want to know what other cities, what other housewives, and I think we should have no problem getting her on.
I was just thinking, I mean, there's a perfect place for her to go if she wants to share a bunch of her Bravo takes. I mean, she was pretty niche. That the last clip I saw that went viral, she was talking about Next Gen NYC, and she was like, I love Charlie Zakor and stuff. And I was like, oh my God, she was watching Next Gen NYC already. So
she's
that's great.
NYC Prep, Kel on Earth. All of the good old hits.
Totally. She was like, I hope Ariana and Hudson will, get back together. And so it's great to know. But yes, Michelle Obama, if you'd like to come on Turtle Time, I would almost say any time works for Amy and I, right? I mean,
Barack is like, Michelle, look, he's got that Zaxby's money. He's not coming back.
Oh my God, that's great. He's definitely saying something like that about Hudson. Great, well, wonderful. Yeah, I'm glad. I haven't. Do you listen to that podcast, Michelle Obama's podcast?
I don't, but I've seen clips. Love to see her. Love seeing their Valentine's post. After that horrible crap that was posted about them a week or 2 ago, everyone was just posting celebrations of them, and I was like, I just want to live here for a while. Let me have my 2008 energy back again, when I was filled with hope and wonder and joy.
Yeah, I totally know what you mean. And then last on the news docket, you said that they've been teasing Real Housewives of Atlanta coming back soon, and you said that the promo campaign was kind of causing a big stir on the internet. What kind of stuff?
I don't know about that, but I guess they aired the promo during the Potomac reunion, but I watched it on Peacock, so I didn't see it. But it's a true teaser. It's just their promo art, but then it cuts to a cheetah's eyeball darting back and forth, shit's gonna go down. But yeah, it seems like it's all the same people. And it says roar, and then ROAR turns into RHOA.
No way. How does it just because I'm trying
you
to
liked
picture
this post.
I did. Oh, good. No, of course. Yes, of course. And I remember every aspect of it. Will you remind me? Does it make do the letters of roar? Do they shift slowly to reorient to RHOA?
Yes, and
Okay.
this is a thank you to Queens of Bravo for keeping us posted at all times.
Of course.
But I'm a little overwhelmed. I'm in summer house mode. I can't think about the new shit coming down the pike. I know Ladies of London is coming back, and I'm I need to just focus on our key players here. I have my head in the sand. in
Of
the dunes.
Of course. I have my head, deep in the sand, so, for sure. I feel like Shia LaBeouf after he gets down in New Orleans for a couple weeks. But just despite that, I also, though, think that it's on Turtle Time. It's an obligation of ours to now, for this future of a content-rich landscape, for you and I to diligently think about what needs to get on our radar and make, if quite possibly Ladies of London happens to be for some reason one of the coolest things that's ever existed, or maybe Southern Hospitality pulls a rabbit out of its hat, we'll just have to be, judicious in a way of being like, we're orienting our time around this. Cause I kind of was like, what if Ladies of London, like, what if it blows our hat off? I kind of want to see, I tell you this all the time, but I love London shit. Like,
Yeah.
Paddington, Station, and the Bear. They're huge. Just a lot of the London huge staples I love. So I'd love to see that. And then Southern Hospitality. Some people clamor for it. Some people.
I know, but we've given the college try.
I know, but maybe season 4. Maybe I think that Maddie and Joe Bradley's relationship has got the kind of got the warning signs on it, so maybe that will happen. I don't know, but I'm just saying it's up to us in this content-rich landscape to choose. We don't always have to adhere to the old standards. Maybe we branch out and go nuts on Ladies of London or
yeah. We also have to at some point, to some degree, talk about the below deck.
Oh yeah,
Salt Lake POV.
Oh, I know a good spot for that. And I'll tell you after. I got a good spot for that.
Okay, great.
People are clamoring.
Wink,
For wink, wink. I got a spot for Below Deck easily. That's already out, right? We can watch that.
I think so.
The flip side of I got a place for that. We don't have to say too much, but I got a place for that. Might work really well. So let's talk.
Okay.
Let's talk after the show. Okay. News. Can I just be honest? I didn't know what the hell news we had to talk about coming in here. I've had my head buried in the sand for 3 days. I didn't have time to pull. I was the opposite of Wolf Blitzer. I was like, who's the opposite of Wolf Blitzer? I was the opposite of Wolf Blitzer in terms of news. I didn't do shit. And you really helped me so much with all of the current affairs stories that happened. But you know what I was
Call
paying?
me Caitlin Collins.
You are Caitlin Collins, asking all the right questions at the forefront of news. And I was like Wolf Blitzer after I don't know. I don't want to say anything like horrible about him. But on his worst day where he's sick with the flu and he's barfing and he can't do the news, I was even worse than Wolf Blitzer then. Like on his worst day.
When he was out on his ass.
When they were like, Wolf, don't show up to work today. I know I know you're like the new Walter Cronkite, but don't come in. You're sick as a dog. And he's like, no, I still got to report the news. I'm even worse than Wolf Blitzer sick as a dog. But then I did do the work on the other shows, not news I didn't focus on properly, but what I did do is I watched the Potomac reunion part 1 in a huge way. And I think you and I should sort of go and discuss the highlights from part 1 of this reunion. Does that make sense to you at all?
Yes. It focuses, at least to start. I know Andy says we're going to cover it more down the line, probably what the actual Wendy and Eddie crime was, but the reunion starts with that because they didn't really get to cover it during the season. But it opens on Wendy and Eddie 1 week post arrest, and they feel like they've been hit by a truck. They are just so devastated. She's talking quietly.
Yeah.
She says she's not hungry.
Yeah.
She's just can't believe that this has happened. And I'm kind of like, we'll get, I'm looking forward to them talking through the crime itself, because I'm like, why are they so shocked? Allegedly, but I'm like, is anyone riding for their innocence? Because it seems like open and shut case, maybe to the degree at which they're guilty, but it's like they did a crime, right?
Yeah, I like to see how people post criminal allegation, behave. because it's interesting. You rarely get to see this. So I think Karen handled it in a full blown like denial way, where she was like, "I will see my day in court, and you will revel in the glory I have." Post
Justice will
jury.
be seen.
Yeah, and then I think that Wendy is sort of balancing this. She didn't specifically say that they were innocent. I think she's waiting to declare that. It's almost like the perfect instance of saying, like, I cannot talk about this. This is an active case. Like, Andy, what the hell are you doing even acting about? But definitely what I thought when I watched that was that they were aligned in being like, this is the worst day of our lives. We are two parents who just went through a horrible emotional toll, and they really just kept it in the personal arena of what this did to our kids, like how sad it was, the parents coming over, and didn't really tee me off at all to actually what they are proposing as an alternative to what we think, or I think the world does see, like, it seems like open and shut insurance fraud, quite possibly. They don't really have the Karen leverage of being like, until you saw the video where she was like, I wasn't drunk as hell, and wait until you see the evidence come out. So it's just a way of, but also it doesn't take away from the fact that I do believe that their soul was sucked out, after spending the night in jail and having to explain to your kids. So we really do have to wait until what Wendy officially says about how they're going to handle this later in the season. But it was definitely shocking to see them completely demoralized, especially Wendy, like this.
Right.
Like,
I know. Yeah, because with Karen, a DUI is one thing that's like, irresponsible, reckless, etc. But you're like, your judgment is impaired. You're doing something that's emotionally destructive that then results in a real world crime. That's so different than doing a calculated crime.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that's like such a wild decision to make to me. Like, I'm like, that's crazy. Because even with like tax stuff, you're almost like, everybody's fudging their taxes a little bit. Like, that's the name of the game. Not me. Not us.
I was gonna do an insert.
We're
if
to
we
the
get
letter.
it.
Like, we'd pay extra.
You should see us. We have a tax team that is diligently sort of, we're almost every
Turtle
expense.
time tax.
Turtle Time Tax is one of the best. I hate to say this, but our accountants sort of brag about us as clients. They go, they didn't even need to pay that extra thing, but they did. But you're right. A lot of
But like, you're kind of like, well, what exactly happened here? Except, I mean, sometimes people you're like, oops, they owe $1 million, and you're like, how did that happen? But to do fraud,
or when you go expense a big business lunch, like hypothetically, and you go to Casa Vega or whatever, and you're like, can you put the margaritas as food? And then you're able to declare it a business lunch. Like, a lot of people I know do weird stuff like that, which is like, you're begging for the IRS to sniff down your door. But well, wait. So what were you saying? It's not the same.
I mean,
at
this
all.
isn't as bad as like a Jen Shaw where there's actual human victims. Of course, that's the worst case. I mean, like, I would say like physical violent crime is the worst.
Yeah.
Then like fraud against elders, like Tom and Jen Shaw.
Yeah.
And then this is just like it's more embarrassing because it's like you set out to do a crime. Like you basically, like, it's like robbing a bank or something. Like, you're like, that you thought this was a good idea.
Yeah. I think it too. I think that I'm assuming that the evidence that they have is going to be pretty convincing. I think that there were some willful steps made to fabricate elements of theft so that they got that sweet insurance money rolling in. But I also, like you just said, I really have sort of I have a real full spectrum of what makes me think of someone as reprehensible in terms of their criminal sort of hierarchy. And for me, I haven't even really thought about Wendy and Eddie that negatively. I'm like, you tried, you got completely busted. Who among us wouldn't want to get $500,000 or whatever the hell it was from saying that, a bunch of stuff was stolen? It doesn't really affect my judgment of their moral character.
Victimless crime, but sort of the hubris, especially they have 3 kids. like
Yes, of
3
course.
young kids. It's like, come on, you guys.
Of course. I agree completely. And if it ends up being an instance, which it could possibly be, where their kids, are going to suffer from not having, their parents in their lives for a period of time, like that was a horrible risk. That is a moral calculation you have to factor in. For some reason, I'm just like, I'm like, insurance fraud. I'm like, I never would do it, but I'm just like,
No, I mean, I don't give a shit about that, but it's like, she's so, in this reunion, they show her like high horse montage,
Yeah.
and it's a little surprising that she's so bragging about being by the book, having her degrees, being this successful woman, and that she would potentially do something like this.
Yeah, it's so McBee-esque because remember,
Yeah, I mean, I
Stephen
wouldn't put it
McBee?
past the McBees for a second, so that's
Steve
not even a surprise.
Steve McBee, I was like, before you claim guilty, like, remember, I think I said this before, but just be like, I was blackout drunk when I was writing those soybean yield figures down. Like, I had an extra zero.
Temporary insanity by drunkenness.
I was insane drunk. I was an insane drunk, and I put an extra 2 zeros. Are those even zeros? Look at my penmanship. Like, I would really kind of, I would go for a while before I acknowledge guilt about some numbers.
She gets into a little bit. I mean, I was surprised. Giselle immediately jokes about Wendy says she took a nap when the feds came, and Giselle goes, "Is that why your wig was askew?" And I was like, "Damn, we're going straight into the jokes." And then they talk about her mugshot, and Andy goes, "What was with the shit-eating grin?" And I was like, "Damn."
Well, I mean, I don't know. It was a remarkable mugshot. When it came out, it did, and I'm glad we got I thought the rationale was wonderful for the shit-eating grin, as Andy called it. She said that the person taking the photo was wonderful to her and sweet.
Yeah. He was
and
like, "Give
cute.
me some options, give me another look, maybe give me a smile," and he was trying to cheer her up, and so that was her rationale.
And she was still smiling as she thought about the photographer taking the mugshot. Like, she was still remembering how sweet and fun he was. And then they go, everyone thought that you guys were bombed on Happy Eddie's edibles. And she goes, "No, I didn't even take one." I don't know. Eddie might have been high as a kite, but also he was sleeping. He had just been sleeping when
Double
they
nap?
asked. Total double. He had a major nap going, and then when the mugshot guy goes, "Please come get your mugshot" or whatever, Eddie was basically rubbing his eyes, and then he had just woken up, and so that's why he looked sleepy in his mugshot.
Yeah, she said she actually did have to spend the night there, which they were shocked by. And Ashley reveals her biggest fear is going to jail. So the fact that 2 women on her cast have now gone to jail is terrifying to her. Like the walls are closing in. So yeah, I mean, there's more to come. I want to talk about the crime more when they talk about it. But I was also, the other thing I'll say is just, I forgot that people still have beef with Stacey, and it seems like there's going to be a lot of people trying to take her down still. And I'm like, I don't want that. It's not. Yeah. Don't even bother. She's a star. She's on Vanity Fair's best performances of 2025.
And you know that Andy loves her too. It's like, it's such a losing argument to make. And then we not only have to deal with Giselle and Ashley hating her for no reason, but then we have to deal with like Kay and Tia basically taking their cues from Giselle and Ashley and also hating Stacey for no reason. Like, Kay was like, even when Andy was like, "I love your QVC videos, Stacey. They're the funniest things I've ever seen." And Kay's like, "Well, they suck to me, but great job doing them, but I'll never watch that shit." I was like, what? Where? I'll never understand the animosity towards Stacey. And I really want to make this plea to Stacey. You can forgive them, but never forget them. I know in 2 seasons, Giselle is going to go, "I swear, I know this to be true." Giselle is going to go, "I'm actually kind of liking Stacey. She's pretty fun.
She's a star.
She's a star." And I want Stacey to, you always remember how Giselle and Ashley treated you when you first got here. And don't ever, I would say, let them turn the tables and try to be your friend, because it's almost unforgivable how they treated you for these first couple of seasons. I don't really want them to get that grace from Stacey, because it's the level to which they went against Stacey was unfathomable.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
know. And I was like, I can't go over Timu's travel schedule versus that dinner again. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about the minutia of that. We cannot be spending reunion time talking about that. Also, I think from what I could tell from memes, one of the plucked out moments was when Angel said that Wendy had asshole lips and Forrest Whitaker eyes. And she said she does a similar expression to Forrest Whitaker. And Wendy goes, well, what if I called you James Earl Jones? Would that be wrong? And Andy goes, not James Earl Jones. And Stacey goes, may God rest his soul.
That was my favorite moment of the reunion when Stacey says very somberly, "God rest his soul." That was so beautiful. Yeah, that was a great moment. Angel has to account for it. You're right. Like, you don't even want to bring it up because you're like, I don't want to go back there to talk about it. But some of the catfish stuff, and then they really kind of lay out in the edit how Giselle was responsible for Catfish Gate. She was the one who said it. But then how Angel was able to sort of reformulate that as animosity towards Wendy. And Wendy was basically just like, what the hell were you doing? You knew that Giselle said it, but you forgave her and tried to attach me to something that I didn't even say and make me look worse for saying it. So I kind of, there was a little bit of Angel stuff that they got into. And then finally, Andy goes, Ashley, he goes, the fans noticed that you were a little more bitter and mean this season, which is something that I think I noted as well. I've really never seen Ashley like this. For some reason, her antagonism towards Stacey really just shows her in sort of this unfavorable light. And she seemed to have some mean-spirited energy this year. And they go, and even the response to Wendy, going to jail, it seemed so callous. And she goes, I saw you smiling in the mugshot, so I thought everything was fun and you were laughing and it was cool.
Didn't think it was a big deal.
And it's like, yeah, right. Like, what a ridiculous excuse. And then Ashley goes, you tried to tear down my accomplishments to Wendy or something. And Wendy goes, what accomplishments? You have no accomplishments to tear down, which I was like, damn. And then Ashley is so good, at a counterattack. She goes, well, at least I only have one social security number. And Wendy's like, oh God, you got her there. I mean, oh my God.
Andy was like,
Yeah. So it really did tee it up for a wonderful part two, which, I'm very excited about.
I have to say, I sometimes when I'm watching stuff, I'll be like, all right, where am I in the episode? And the first time I checked the time was like 30 minutes in and I only had 10 minutes left. And I was like, this is whizzing by.
Yeah, I pull a full-blown where am I all the time. I go, where am I in this?
Yeah, with Vanderpump Rules, I'm like, you're 8 minutes in. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, 1.25 speed we go.
It's so true. It's really a mark of quality. Like, when are you checking the timeline to be like, where am I in this episode? I felt the same way. I was definitely checking the time on Vanderpump Rules, as we'll talk about later. But
but yeah, next week. I don't know if Karen is on next week, but she arrives next week. So I don't know if she'll pop in at the very end or something because she wasn't in the clips. But Monique also joins and Jazzy.
Yeah. I want to congratulate Wendy too. I don't think we said it enough. The fact that they showed her 1 week later on camera and she wanted to have that scene with Eddie.
Yeah.
But then also her just showing up to the reunion and going toe to toe with everybody, fighting, being fun, making jokes. Like, that's a huge deal.
Totally.
She's in the middle of a criminal case against her, showing up to court, and she still came to the reunion is ready.
She's like, whatever happens, I'm going to need this job, so I have to show that I'm willing to do whatever it takes.
But still, wonderful to be able to perform under those circumstances. I was proud of her. I felt like nothing was wrong. I was like, oh, this just seems like Wendy as usual.
Yeah, when she Andy was like, all right, well, that's enough on the jail stuff for now, but we will be getting into this more later. And she goes, that's fine.
Yeah, she knows there's a lot more to talk about with that. So we'll keep checking in on Potomac. I mean, this is big stuff. This is wild what's going on over there. But next, I think you and I should get cut to the chase. Stop talking about news. No more Potomac. I think we got to talk about this wonderful episode of Summer House called Apology Dunes that premiered this week. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Apology Dunes.
Twice.
You did?
Yep.
Whoa, I watched it twice too. That's a mark of quality. And I didn't say where the hell am I in this episode once.
Yeah.
I just
I
said, is
watched
there
it
more?
once for pure enjoyment, second time for notes, because I wanted to just let it wash over me, you know?
Yeah.
I don't
Oh.
want to have to be scribbling the whole time.
I want it to be like that, the water, the tide on the Apology Dune beach. Let that water just wash over me, like when Kyle goes almost like a baptism into the water to
Yeah.
regroup and collect himself. And then what about us finding out this Apology Dune element of Summer House where they have a name for it?
I love
Apology.
it.
Amanda calls it Apology Beach. Kyle calls it Apology Dunes. He's like, and then they show the flashbacks, and there's been 3 pivotal apologies on the same stretch of beach.
Yeah.
I thought that was so fun to
Did
know.
Carl and Lindsay get engaged on the Apology Dune?
Great question.
It kind of looked like the same area.
Great question.
It was built, their relationship was built on cursed land.
Could that be quite possible that apologies had come so many times before it that getting engaged on that sacred dune space infected their
It's like
engagement
the house
in some
in
way?
Poltergeist.
Oh my God. It's like we're the sand is like, we're used to apologies here. What is this kind of human experience that we can't fathom? Love in a place.
Not solid ground.
But this episode was so great. You know what I think that this is so like boring and basic to say. But if you really just love everybody,
hmm
it's what was happening on RHONY in the golden years.
Yeah.
If you just love everybody, you'll watch them do absolutely anything.
Yeah.
I'll watch them go into Kyle's DJ room with cardboard cutouts and dance with cardboard cutouts. I'll watch that for 10 minutes, and then I'll start to look for TikToks to see what the extra scenes of what the hell they were doing in that room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did you find any? Because when West goes, if you're going to DJ, play my shit. I was like, what's his shit?
Oh my God. I was thinking that. I want to see West's video of when he puts the Lindsay cardboard cutout dancing with Carl, because that was making me laugh.
Yeah.
Just like Kyle and West were laughing in the moment. Like, it's just all about the cast. You really, they could do anything with their time. And I don't really even think that much stuff happens. Beach, I mean, it's all just the fundamental elements of every Summer House episode are here.
Yeah.
But I just love the cast, and I love the new cast so much. They're not detracting from anything. Summer House has had some major casting blunders in the past. Some horrible casting decisions that really you were like, I don't want to spend 5 minutes over here. I want to go back over here with the cast I love. They finally have just been getting it right over the last 3 years. It's wonderful. So I can't, everybody has to watch Summer House. If you listen to Turtle Time and you don't watch Summer House, I don't think that's quite possible, but you got to get into it. It's worth the journey to get to here.
Yeah. I will say there is a Paul cast on this season, which is just the demise of Kyle and Amanda's relationship. The way that 2 years ago it was Carl and Lindsay's relationship and demise, which, you know, I'm actually finding it more entertaining than I expected. I was kind of afraid that I was going to find it too upsetting to enjoy. But it's been interesting. I'm a little afraid of how much worse it's going to get. Obviously, we know it devolves into Carl like trying to fight Kyle, which I still can't even imagine like how bad it needs to get for that to occur, because as of this episode, he's still checking on him and being his brother, you know.
Well, now that I've seen Kyle say, you know, well, I guess after this appetizer, I'll just go fuck myself. I think that anything could set him off now, how angry he is. But I think that he's going to say, like I already said, I think he's going to say like one disrespectful thing about Amanda to the table that's just going to be too much for Carl. But Kyle does this every single episode. I can imagine him storming off at any time. So really, the missing element is what causes Carl to go after him and want to fight to the death out there, outside of the house.
He's like losing his boys' support. There are a few times in this episode where West is like, damn, he's a fucking baby. He's got to get a grip.
I know. West, oh my God. West said Kyle's acting like a goddamn baby over there. And I was like, holy shit, Kyle, you're losing even the boy squad that you love. Even they can't stand you throwing chairs and slamming your hand down and kicking Amazon boxes and letting portraits fall off their
Yeah.
nails.
Yeah, he's like, so this picks up exactly where it left off last week of after Sierra's like, is this speech about you? Which I don't remember if we already talked about this, but people online pointed out that that was most likely a Euphoria reference, which I didn't clock straight away, but I get it now.
Oh, I didn't know that, but yeah. Megan said that to me too. She goes, I think one of our wonderful Villa Rosa VIPs let us know. And I haven't never seen Euphoria. I've only seen Jacob Elordi's in that, right?
He is.
I've
Sydney
only
Sweeney, Zendaya.
Oh my God, what a cast.
Stacked.
I've only seen Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein in
I thought
Guillermo
he
del
was
Toro's
good.
Frankenstein. I thought he was wonderful.
He was like a sweet little monster.
He goes, Master has told you his story. Let me tell you mine. The Creature's Tale. I loved it. For not knowing anything about Jacob Elordi, just in dead man makeup, big and huge, throwing wolves, ripping wolves' heads off. I was like, this is fucking awesome. I thought he was wonderful. It was a great entry point into
His
Jacob
little
Elordi.
journey with the blind man at the cabin. I was crying.
I thought that movie was wonderful.
You liked it?
Oh, I really
liked it
did.
too.
I liked it. It was like a fairy tale or like fantasy. I really thought it would be more horror skewed and kind of dumb, but I actually liked learning whatever the lore of actual Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was. And the creature being like a poetic, beautiful soul who's like, what does he say? He's like, death is, I can
Would
not
be
die.
relief.
I cannot die and I cannot live. Oh my God. And Victor Frankenstein, it really made me think, who the hell's the real monster here? Because you could argue Victor Frankenstein was sort of shittier than Frankenstein.
Oh, horrible. My friend who had recently read Frankenstein said that because Guillermo is so tender-hearted that he added the parts of the old man giving tenderness and like the Mia Goth character even, that in the book no one ever gives Frankenstein
Really?
tenderness, like ever.
Oh,
And I'm like, that's too much.
oh, even
I actually needed the tender.
Oh my God, me too. I loved him learning that there could be a good, like a good human, a good life if he hadn't been saddled with horrible, evil Victor Frankenstein. Oh, who I hated. He's a horrible guy. I loved the wolf stuff too because I love I loved Beauty and the Beast in the beginning when they're in the woods, you know, the horrible, evil woods and the wolves start coming. And I love that this had wolf stuff too, where he's like, he leaves for one damn day and then the wolves, of course, wreak havoc all over that blind man that he loved.
Yeah, I like how when they built the Frankenstein's lair in whatever that building used to be, like a electric plant or a water tower or whatever, they're like, don't mind that big hole in the floor. Nothing will happen there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, Guillermo del Toro said it was an accident. He goes, the set designer just put a huge hole in the middle and it ended up working out very well. If only Victor had heard when he goes, say one more word, scum, other than my name, you piece of shit. And he goes, Elizabeth. And I wish that Victor had heard him because it perfectly, it was exactly what he wanted. He wanted one more name. Oh my God.
So greedy.
He's Victor Frankenstein. I mean, it's really, he was almost, his moral character was even worse than Frankenstein's, which you'd think was the opposite because Frankenstein was made from a bunch of dead pieces of flesh that was animated by lightning. Anyway, well, what were we talking about Jacob Elordi? Oh, that TikTok sound. Oh yeah, the TikTok sound. So Kyle, who also probably doesn't watch Euphoria, didn't get the reference. He goes,
right, so he got all pissed.
He goes, you better not be talking about Euphoria over there. I don't understand the reference. But Jesse goes, hey, I was laughing too. I don't watch Euphoria either, but I was laughing my ass off. Kyle said a lot worse and not apologize for it. So what the hell is going on with him right now? Why is he making a big stinking statement at the table about this shit to us? So they're all kind of laughing up their sleeves. And only Carl, he has to go like, fuck. I said I'd give this shirt off my back, or I'd give Kyle my shirt anytime he asked for it. So I need to go give my shirt to Kyle. So he has to go out. And Kyle's talking to himself like Frankenstein in his dungeon. He's going
muttering.
He goes, he goes, I cannot live. and I cannot deal with people disrespecting my toasts. And he's kicking boxes just like Frankenstein down there.
I think he keeps doing this where he just talks to himself. And I'm like, is that because that's the only camera time he's going to get where he can state his case?
Yeah, it's a good be a mutterer if you're on Bravo and you feel like you're not articulating your case. Like Jennifer Tilly does it on Beverly Hills. She'll not be able to not acknowledge that camera people are there. So she'll go, I guess I'm in my house alone. What the hell is wrong with me? Like, just start muttering and see if it makes it into the edit. And then, but Kyle's like, he's asking you to believe that he's a mutterer that just says stuff all the time.
Yeah. I thought that Amanda was doing it later, but then it goes producer and they reply and Sierra's like, she's talking to Trish. There's nothing I could do. And I was like, Trish, there's actually a lot of fourth wall breaks in this, which I think is also a sign of the show outgrowing the form, which is why I'm glad that the summer in the city, I will never remember the name.
Yeah. Summer in your city? Summer coming to your city.
The city time?
I'm
Whatever.
Exactly glad.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm glad exactly for what you said too. But also, I know you do too. I appreciated Amanda venting to Trish because I like imagining the behind the scenes figures who know the legacy of this show as well, and to see how they talk, about it to each other. It was just interesting to watch Amanda sort of confide in a producer who probably knows as much as any cast member about what she's been dealing with Kyle.
I was watching an interview with Carl recently where he said that the day that he found out about his brother's death, that there's a producer on the show that he's close with and who had a similar family situation going on. So they had bonded about it, that he ran to that producer and that they cried and talked about it for an hour before they resumed. So I'm they're all just really close with these people at this point.
It's the most beautiful show. I mean, it is you imagine that the spirit in front of the camera must be also behind the camera, because they care about all the things that we care about and include all the things we want to see in the edit. I mean, it really must be such a wonderful production team that they can confide in or have moments like that when it gets really emotional. And then Carl does come in. He doesn't really he doesn't really know what to do. He's just like, you're angry as hell. And he's like, you don't have to be so offended, when they disrespect you at the table. Water off a duck's back. Just go in there and be like, I don't give a shit.
Carl is trying to talk him down at the table. They're saying that Kyle also apologized to all the guys earlier, and Amanda's like, well, he didn't apologize to me. And so, more to come on all of this, but it's just, everyone's like, what the hell is going on? Then we go inside. They have cardboard cutouts of everybody in the DJ room, which is fun. I don't even know who did that. Do they even say?
Kyle says, he goes, I guess I'll go hang out with my real friends who aren't my haters. So I think he got all of these made. Him and production, but he's claiming ownership over these wonderful cardboard cutouts that are so fun. Do you want to go through some of them? Carl holding a phone. Carl holding a phone. Wes doing a hand gesture, and many, many more. Almost Lindsay Hubbard kind of doing a fun pose. They're great.
I feel like the scale is askew on some of them, but that's okay. Also, Wes comes in and he's wearing sunglasses on his head, and Sierra goes, are those my sunglasses? Get my sunglasses off your sweaty head. And he's like, aw. And he's like, I don't know if she likes me anymore or not. She just, every now and again, she'll do some mean thing that hurts my feelings.
Yes. Yeah, he doesn't know how to take, he goes, because I'm not allowed to talk to Sierra at all, I don't know why these things happen, and there's no one to talk to about it. So I don't know her intentions. I think though we sort of learned by the end of the episode that any sort of attention that she pays to West at all is a good sign in a way, even though he could have taken that sweaty forehead, that could have been an insult indicative of her not liking him. But I don't think that's the truth. I think it was just a fun remark to be like, let me have my sunglasses back, even though she called him sweaty.
Right. Amanda's going to bed. Kyle comes in before he goes out, and he apologizes for bringing up their sex life, for talking to everyone about her like weed and blah blah blah, and she says thank you, and he goes, well, I tried to apologize multiple times this week, and she's like, you're such a liar, you absolutely did not. Then they get into it. It felt like maybe it was gonna be okay, and then they got into it, and then she starts talking about defending her smoking weed at night, and she goes, I never smoke until after the dog's last walk of the night at 10 p.m. So like, what are you even talking about that like my smoking weed at 10:30 p.m. or later is a problem for us? And so she's like having to defend herself. It's kind of like, it's like he's talking shit about her smoking weed. She's talking shit about him drinking. And it feels a little bit like those are like the last clause, like the clause are out of like, because later he goes, you're accusing me of being an alcoholic on national television. You know, like I think they're both like, oh, we're going to do this. Like you're going to talk about that, are ya?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think you're right. Like, that's definitely how Kyle perceives it later when he's like, "You're gonna label me an alcoholic." But I was like, 10 p.m. I was like, that's the perfect getting ripped off weed time. Like everything's done. You know, I wonder what she watches. I wonder if she watches movies or television when she's high as a kite.
Yeah, or just TikToks.
Oh, maybe just TikToks. But he goes, I can't apologize to you during the day because adults work during the day. And she's like, well, you never try to apologize, so don't try to look good on camera like you apologized a bunch of times. So, and they're fighting, and then, you know, Jesse's like trying to get Kyle out to go, and he's still, even though mid-fight, they don't really resolve anything, he goes out to party with everybody, and they all leave, leaving Amanda behind at the house.
Yeah. Okay, we also get a quick blip that the new girl, Mia, has a boyfriend who, I hate to say it, owns restaurants, travels a lot. That's a real red flag, as we know.
Really? Right.
Remember Robert?
Of course.
The chef?
Oh my God. He was a precursor to sort of the bear in terms of, right? Like how hard it is when we finally learned how hard it was to be behind the wheels of a hot restaurant. Robert was sort of, don't you think he was in a way sort of reminiscent of what we'd learn soon about chefs from the show The Bear? He's watching Mission Impossible, all 8 films back to back.
Did he say that?
Yeah. And Mia says, well, I don't want to see any of them, so that's the perfect thing to watch. But I was like, that would be so fun. Could you imagine?
I'd be like, miss me on Dead Reckoning Part 2, but the rest I'll jump in.
You didn't like Dead Reckoning Part 2? Final Reckoning?
Final Reckoning. I feel like they just kind of had diminishing returns, and then the last one had diminished the most.
Yeah, I thought it was sloppy as hell. I couldn't defend it at all. I don't know what was going on. They need to start writing those movies again. They can't just be Tom Cruise is in a submarine and they're like, how do we fit that in? But anyway, then this was beautiful. Sierra checks in on Amanda because I'm sure that the fighting was heard all over the place. That every time Amanda and Kyle are in the same room, they're fighting horribly. And Sierra comes in, and this was a beautiful. This is kind of the moments that I'm talking about in Summer House that are so wonderful for a cast that you've seen for so long. For them to have a scene like this, Sierra checks in on Amanda, and Amanda says, although it seems like I forgive, you know, Kyle in these moments, I don't forget any of this stuff that I go through. And I really do wonder, it makes me nervous about how he would treat our children. She says this to Sierra. And Sierra is such a good friend to Amanda. She's like, I'm not saying that he'll be fully a bad dad, but you do deserve better than this. You know, a real way of just telling her that she doesn't have to suffer through this.
Yeah, he is giving pure signs that he'll be a mad dad. And then Amanda goes, I don't know if I'll be good enough for someone else. And Sierra's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she starts to compliment her and cries while she's complimenting her. She's like, you're so special. You're so loyal. You love so hard. You know, she's like, I don't know why you think like that. And then in her confessional, Sierra goes, I feel like she could have a new husband in a year, or like we could find her a new husband in a year. And I'm like, Kyle's going to like implode when he sees that confessional.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt so bad for Amanda to say something about herself like that. It's just so not true. And I loved Sierra being there to tell her all of those wonderful things about herself. And Sierra says, like, when Amanda talks this way about herself, I just want to shake her and show her how she is perceived by the world and not just by her self. And so she's like, she goes, if you ever need anything, Sierra says to Amanda, like, you can always call me and you can even stay with me if things go bad. And Amanda goes, I think about that all the time. So just it can't get much worse than how it is now between them.
No. Then everyone stays out. A lot of them stay out late. The boys do. Wes is like, time for a jump ski, dunk ski. Everyone jump in. They're all having a blast. We fast forward to the morning. Bailey and Levi are talking about Kyle and Amanda, and they're like, it's so bad. Like, everything they say to each other is so antagonistic. It's just like kind of a nightmare. Bailey's like, I can relate. My last relationship sucks. We were always yelling at each other in front of everyone, and I frankly hate to see it. I relate too hard. We get what we see throughout the episode, Jesse and Sierra being besties, flirting. She asks him to help her pick out her bikini for the day, and he's like, I like that one that looks so small that there might be a nip slip. And I'm like, she really, I mean, because she just likes him and likes the attention, she lets him say the craziest shit. I'm like, if someone else said that, she'd be like, fuck you.
Yeah, I I love their friendship and chemistry, and I think it was.
It's fun.
I think it's fun that Jesse got to this place where he can say shit like that to her, and she loves it. I mean, there's so many cute moments between Jesse and Sierra.
He
in this
talks like
episode.
that to Amanda too, like when her boobs were out last week or whatever, he was like, I haven't even seen her boobs. Like, he's always just like, it's as if he's like the gay best friend or something. He can say whatever he wants, but he's fully like a hetero wolf in the hen house. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah, I think they've gotten to a place where he is outspoken about how sexually attractive he finds all of the cast members, and they love him for it. They appreciate it. But once he's really thinking about it, he does say blue and yellow swimsuit is what he wants Sierra to go with.
Yes. She also talks to him, and Mia joins too, about his dating prospects. He says that he normally dates just really normal girlies. I don't really know what that means. Like, does he mean like basic? I'm not really sure what that means. And he's like, they're like, Lexi doesn't count as a relationship. They were together for like 8 weeks, and his last real relationship was like 2019. And Sierra's like, you should date someone fiery, totally opposite of what you normally do. Someone super opinionated like me, who has strong opinions. And it's a little bit like, she's implying sort of like, because you like are obsessed with me, it should be someone like me.
Yeah. Yeah. I was I thought it was I was a little shocked to see him discount the Lexi era that we suffered through last season. It felt like we lived with that relationship for years. And he's just like, that meant nothing to me, and that wasn't a relationship, and I don't even really count that as a girlfriend. And Sierra's like, well, I'm glad you said it, because she felt the same way, I guess, about Lexi.
What a horrible period we had to have. But okay, beach day. KJ's like, I want to be one of the lads this summer. He's like, I'm the only guy here that struggles with being single. I always catch feelings. I want to be more like West and Jesse, who can be surrounded by chicks in the club and just have fun with it. So he's trying to be, I don't know, more of a fuckboy, I guess. And then West gives Kyle some advice and says, he gives him like an ear, but he's like, I think that apology was an overcorrection. I think it was a little bit just like nothing anyone really needed, and then you ended up putting the spotlight on something that should have just been between you and Amanda. So I feel like that's why you freaked out when Sierra was joking, because there's just so much attention on it, and I think you don't need to do that.
Yeah, and West's right. He says exactly what Amanda said at the table, which is like, why are you doing this with everyone? You could have just apologized to me well, and we could have dealt with it ourselves. So West gives Kyle good advice, but I don't know if Kyle was really listening to West. He was just eating. West had a big tuna salad sandwich in his hands, and Kyle was so hungry that he was just eating a bunch of tuna, and he's like, yeah, but then this is when Kyle, then he gets back. He must have heard something, because he goes, Amanda, will you go with me to the apology dunes, of which you and I have already spoken about? They're over there, and we see all of the legacy of huge apologies that have happened over there. Carl.
There was one that was Maya and Lindsay Hubbard, and I was like, oh, I didn't remember that at all.
Yeah, and then of course I remember Kyle to Paige after they were screaming at each other, and just these huge moments in the apology dunes. And Kyle, they go over there, and Kyle, before he even gets to the apology, I feel like he's trying to find common ground about what they're fighting about. And he goes, I really do think we need to work on our communication. And that's when Amanda says that I do ask you questions and I try to check in with you. But Amanda's major point is that she is done trying to appease Kyle in little ways, like the little things that he wants done or changed, when he won't work on the fundamental, huge, life-shattering things that she's been begging for him to change for years.
Yeah. She says she needs him to get his drinking under control. He goes, I only drink when I'm social. And she's like, yeah, but it's a problem. I don't want to have to babysit you or worry about when you're out. Like, people have to get you to bed. I don't know if you're going to come back. She goes, and forget about what I deal with off season. You're drinking in the city, all the rumors that I get. And he's like, when we got engaged, you started saying no to everything. And she's like, regardless of if I go out with you, that shouldn't affect your faithfulness to me and how intoxicated you get. And this is where I feel like this is his receipts proof timeline. They've showed this clip so many times. He goes, we've got an issue with, how about compatibility, chemistry, intimacy, common interest. He's like, I don't even know who I married anymore. And it's just hard to watch because, I mean, it's crazy that he won't grapple with the drinking part, because he just keeps saying, I drink because I'm unhappy. It's like the whole, I drink because I'm unhappy because I drink kind of a thing. And it's like, why don't you just even entertain that change and just see what happens?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's enough evidence, for me to sort of really, believe that there is instances where Kyle just cannot control himself when he's out, and we've seen it on camera. We hear about it off camera, and Kyle is trying to derail the conversation away from that, because I think it's just the one thing that he doesn't want to do, which I'm not sure why it couldn't even be a compromise to where it's I will drink 2 or 3 drinks, but then he just provided evidence a week ago that he got almost he had to be taken care of, and he banged his forehead on a table and had to be put to bed. And Amanda probably imagines when she sees that's how he could possibly be behaving when he's out in the world in a different city. So I'm not sure why Kyle will never just be able to sort of have a conversation on that plane before deflecting and talking about other stuff, which is the common interest.
Because there is obviously more issues than just that. There's an unbelievable number of issues. It's you can't even count them all. But obviously for her, that is a huge one. And he ends the conversation walking away. He goes, "You're driving me to the drink."
Yeah. Well, when you're calling it the drink, it's we need to question it a little bit. And he was drinking the whole time. I mean, I would, we don't know what's going on inside, Kyle's head, but he does, it seems like when he's social, which I don't know what kind of excuse that is or whatever, but it does seem like at a certain point, he lets the world and the night take him. He just says, I'm going to do one more and I'm going to see what happens. Spin me around in circles, put a blindfold on me, and let me just run wild throughout the city.
Right.
So everyone has a different relationship with alcohol, but if I were him and I didn't want to lose Amanda, and that was the number one thing that she'd been talking about for 8 years or 7 years, that she can't trust him when he's drinking, I would question why I've never been able to sort of bend on that point. And then then he gets rage filled again. And this is when Wes is looking over being like, God damn, Kyle can be such a fucking baby. Good God. And it's it's true. when you see someone have temper tantrums with their wife in public, and they know Amanda so well, and they know how sweet she is and fun and funny. There's like, I don't want to watch someone treat someone like that I love and think is fun. Like, Wes probably loves Amanda more than Kyle. No offense. Like, Amanda is just a very fun spirit. You can tell. She's a deeply good person. She provides a lot of mirth and fun. And then you have to watch Kyle go, hey, you're driving me to drink, baby. I got to drink even more. I'm not a drunk. I'm social. And then he goes, I got to dunk my head in the water. I'm so pissed. I'm red. I'm getting even angrier. You caused me to get angrier. That was the worst thing you could have said. It's like, no one wants to fucking see that ever in their lives. And the fact that West and Jesse know Kyle and Amanda enough now to be like, Kyle is a fucking baby. Kyle needs to stop slamming his hand down and stop doing. It's like, we've seen now the inner circle and how they've adapted to the reality of this couple.
Yeah. Also, before he goes swimming, he gets a low blow in saying, maybe get some curiosity, drive, intention, personality. I was
Rude.
like, whoa. I'm like, I mean, I feel like I want to do the Camille. And now we've said it, because I'm like, they just do not respect each other, period. Like, he thinks she's a loser who, like, doesn't have drive or intention or, like, get up and go. She thinks he's a fucking loser who's, like, an alcoholic piece of shit who has the wrong priorities in life. So it's like, they just do not value the same things, and it's just not gonna fucking work.
Yeah, and I don't know what you and I could have done to save that relationship personally. Like, I'm like, what could we have done? After Kyle works, he's like, I'm working my ass off. I work like an adult. I work every damn day. But, like, maybe there was an hour or two that could have been filled with some fun quality time that they both agree on and they think is wonderful. Instead, Kyle made a new outlet be a travel outlet and a party outlet and an outlet that Amanda doesn't enjoy at all. Sitting and watching Kyle DJ in front of her again. It's just not. I don't know what could have happened, but I wonder if they ever could have rallied on some common interest or shared bond that brought them together, that they united on.
I'm wondering what their actual better matches will be, because it's like probably not great for him to have a party girl like that. That'll be like Victoria and Sandoval, like just kind of scary. That might go sour. Too much partying, both being down, but probably someone that likes going out more, like that is more social, because Amanda sort of just tapped out of that lifestyle. But does he actually want someone that's like super ambitious, like someone that like they could run a company together, like someone that's really into that kind of shit? And then on the other side, I'm like, does Amanda want someone that's super laid back, but also like she doesn't really like to work, so she needs someone that can like provide so that she doesn't have to work?
Yeah, there's such a spectrum because they're both on polar opposites that they really could have 5 out of 10s on both sides of the thing and probably be perfectly happy. They
just
are
like
just
normal.
Yes, totally.
Middle
like
of the
like
road.
I could imagine Amanda with almost anyone, who any wonderful man in the world who she's attracted to. I could imagine her having a fulfilling relationship with, who will just value her. Kyle does not value Amanda. Like, and that's where her self-esteem comes from. Because Kyle's like, you live in trash. She's a troll that smokes weed and peeks her head out of a Doritos bag once a day. It's like horrible way to talk about someone. You don't value Amanda, which, as viewers, I value Amanda so much because I think she's one of the funniest people on Summer House. Like, I see her personality shine, and Kyle has her personality has been dulled for him because he associates her with all of this shit that he doesn't think is like ambitious or whatever.
And because she hates him, so like they treat each other badly.
Yeah. Yeah, I do feel though, I really feel so sad because when Amanda says, I love this man, like I love him, I'm like the person that thinks that he lights up a room and I still get lit up by him. I do think that this is a wall constructed by her giving back to Kyle how she feels like she's been treated for years. And I do think that if Kyle would have done some big things in his life, like Amanda would have come back to him and been like, I always loved you. I just wanted you to be a better person. Like, I feel like there's still love on
Yeah.
Amanda's end. It's not like fully
Well, like
irredeemable here.
Vicky Gunvalson said, once the wall starts going up brick by brick, it's impossible to get it down. And her love tank is empty, unfortunately.
Oh my God, Dawn. Oh my God. She I know she secretly misses Dawn so much, but she blew it.
Totally. Okay, so yeah, Amanda cries to Trish. Kyle comes out of the ocean, actually apologizes. And he's like, we've come all this way. I don't want to throw it down the drain. This all makes me very sad and depressed. And she's like, me too. I hurt every day. And you just never, ever, ever will give me what I'm asking you for. And I feel like I'm going insane. And she sort of gets him here. He goes, when we got together, you knew I was social. And she was like, yeah, but I didn't know that social meant cheating. And I was like, oh, she got your ass.
Yeah. And she goes, I don't wake up every morning just being mad at you. Every morning, basically, I get DMs of people who saw you drunk as a skunk roaming the streets of New Orleans, not returning to whence you're from. And I just get pissed off at you all over again. There's so many rumors that I don't even bring them up into anymore. So, yeah, that's a huge issue in the relationship as well.
Yeah, they ask her in the confessional if she thinks he's cheated on her. And she's like, well, I know he has in the past, as we've talked about on the show. But she goes, since then, I don't know. She goes, only he knows. And you're like, you can tell her attitude in that confessional. I'm like, oh, they're already separated when she recorded this. Like, she fucking hates him.
Yeah, and Wes checks in on Amanda, which I thought was really sweet. He goes, how was it? She's like, I'm okay. And then he like hugs her, and it's so sweet. Like, their friendship. You can tell how much Wes and Amanda love each other.
For
So
sure.
it was nice. Back home, they're all having fun, and they're going to split up into different dinners. We call this different dinner episodes.
I like when they do this.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah,
Get the group in a different mix.
Yeah, and so we divide the cast by some sort of metric, like who will be the most fun. Some people are staying home to eat sushi and play 2-minute questions,
Right.
and then some people are going to a big Hamptons dinner.
Yes. Yeah, one dinner is Carl, Amanda, Jesse, Sierra, and Levi. The at-home group is Mia, West, Ben, KJ, Bailey, and Kyle. At the out in the town dinner, this is where we get Sierra saying she wants to find a Christian husband, and Jesse's like, what the hell? And she's like, well, I guess not necessarily Christian. He's like, yeah, I believe in God, like, and I don't have to marry a Jewish girl. So like their flirtation continues. At home, they're doing a game where I guess it's just you can ask any question you want for 2 minutes. And they ask West, they ask him what his intention is for the summer, and then Kyle goes, would you make out with Sarah again? And he gets very flummoxed, and he's like, well, I mean, well, yeah. And in the confessional, they ask him, I don't even know what they're asking him. They're just like, you're obviously attracted to her. And he's like, yes, like, duh.
Yeah.
He goes, but I don't think that's going to happen. So,
yeah, it's like, he's like, it's so obvious that I'm still attracted to Sierra. But yeah, him admitting, what I don't really understand 2-minute question game. Like most questions and answers would be able to be answered in 2 minutes.
Right.
Like,
no, it was weird.
Is there any
It was
way?
like truth or dare, no dare.
Yeah, it was just, can I ask you a question and you have 2 minutes to answer? It's like, what kind of questions? But I guess Kyle lost the game because when they go, will you sacrifice some of your time to make Amanda happy? Mia actually did a good question. She goes, what could you do to make Amanda happier? And it's like, that was awesome. I was like, oh, I want to see how he answers this. And he goes, change, which is something that I cannot do within me. She knew who I was when she met me or whatever. It's like, wow, wonderful. Great answer. Yeah. And then Ben is like kind of shocked by Kyle. And he's like, would you ever like change, like lessen the amount of DJing? And he's like, well, I've only been doing that a year. And then he kind of just doesn't provide an answer. And they're like, Kyle, come on.
West is like, answer the fucking question. Yeah. He also says earlier they asked him what his biggest fear was, and he said not starting a family before his parents pass away, which, if I remember correctly, I feel like his parents are a little older. So it's interesting that that's his biggest fear, and he like is fucking around. Because I'm like, you're gonna have to start all over, bro.
Yeah, but both of them, like Sierra hinted at, both of them could be in a relationship and getting married within a year. Like,
Yeah, Lindsay Hubbard did.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like it's very underrated. Me and Jimmy talk about it all the time. That I never forget the time that Kyle went home to his parents and his mom was like, I had a real problem being faithful to your father. I fucked around left and right. I'm surprised he even stayed with me. And the dad was like looking away into the sea, like fuck my life.
Yeah, he was like, she cheated on me a lot. Yeah, and Kyle's like, well, that's where I get my cheating from. My mom cheating on my dad.
It's like insane. She's like, she looks like him. Like she has like short gray hair and just wears like she's just like a classic 75-year-old woman. And she's like, oh, like you couldn't keep my pants on.
Yeah, you should have seen me cheating. Some people are just cheaters. Don't you know people who are cheaters? People just cheat.
That's like wild to me. Who has the energy? I'm like, God damn.
People who want to have sex really bad with different people outside of their relationships. And yeah, they cheat all the time. I bet we got some cheaters even listening right now. Their ears are burning. They're like,
Hi, cheaters.
Hi, cheaters. Hi, cheaters. It's interesting. When you think about it, most everyone has cheated in a relationship and some people actively do it. And I would, Kyle hasn't cheated, I guess, for 6 or 7 years. But you could imagine a world in which he's definitely allowed into evidence, a world in which I could imagine that quite possibly he's done it again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, just God only knows. He doesn't even know what he does. It's like Schwartz. He's sort of like a Schwartz Sandoval hybrid where like his worst impulses are the Sandoval and then his most like, I was drunk, I didn't know what I was doing, like, aw shucks thing is like the Schwartz. Like he's sort of a combo.
Yeah, it's sort of the cheaters get out of jail free card, which cheaters will be hooting and hollering when you hear this. You're like, yeah, if I get drunk enough and I'm out without my significant other, I didn't know what happened, but cheating happened. But you know what I mean? That's what Kyle did the first time. They show a clip of it and he's like, I didn't know her name. And it's like, oh God, that's horrible. I mean, it's still cheating.
Yeah, for sure. So then at the dinner out on the streets, Amanda is opening up about that she thought last summer they were finally making a lot of progress. But then when the show stops filming and Kyle doesn't have the cameras to hold him accountable, that he gets way worse. And I'm like, this is so interesting. Like she really keeps bringing up the show and it's wild how, I mean, I think that makes sense because he has to account for his behavior when everyone can see it. And then when he doesn't have to defend his behavior, he could just do whatever the hell he wants. And she's like, I can't stop you. Just like go do whatever the hell you're going to do out on these streets. But it's, she keeps bringing up the show and the season and the
I
the
believe
summer.
it. I believe it. He's like, I believe that Amanda's like, he had an arc for the season and he wanted to show, but when there's no evidence, he doesn't change anything and he DJs his ass off and goes out all the time. I could imagine that happening. And they are both talking about how the edit is going to be perceived when they're having the fight at the Apology Dune. They're like, they're debating how this fight is going to be picked apart by the audience, and Kyle pushing back against the alcoholism accusations. Jesse's so sweet. I think he's like, I hate seeing you guys like this. I hope that you guys can find some peace this summer, because he's speaking probably for everyone, Bailey and Levi, just being like, it's kind of odd to be in a summer house where the only married couple is fighting like this, screaming and they hate each other. And we're just watching them fight day after day.
True nightmare. It is kind of funny though. So like a lot of them stay out really late. Like they don't get back till 3 a.m. And it's kind of funny that everyone is like in Amanda's corner talking about the relationship and, like, God, he needs to change and blah, blah, blah. But then they all just like rage with Kyle.
Oh, it was so fun.
Like he's like ripping it up in the kitchen. Sierra's like has her legs in the air on the counter. Kyle's like using the spray hose in the sink. They're all like, hoo, hoo, hoo. Sierra's making mac and cheese. West is sort of like, not like grinding on her, but they're like very touchy-feely. I was like, roll the tape back.
Oh, it was great. They were as close as they've been for years and really sweet, like touching. And then it kind of, so the party spirit is there. Like you said, Kyle has a hose of water and he's blowing in everybody's faces while he plays West's favorite song. Dancing, fun, mac and cheese, touching. over in the corner.
Everyone's hats are like sideways. They're like ripping it up.
Sideways hats are definitely happening. It's spun on people's heads. And then Sierra runs upstairs and West is like, I'm having the best time of my life. Sierra's talking to me. We're being sweet. And then West or Sierra from up on the top of the stairs goes, West. And he goes, did Sierra just call my name? Oh my God, it can't be true. How is it possible that Sierra's calling my name? And she has the West cardboard cutout peeking down from the stairs at him.
Yeah.
So West is loving this new Sierra energy. And Sierra says something very fun in the confessional. She goes, he's on probation and I'm the strictest probation officer you've ever seen in your life. But even probation offers need to clock out sometimes at night. I thought that was great. West got a little bit out of his probation period.
Yeah. She was like, it's honestly more effort to not flirt with him than to just flirt. So I'd rather just do that, which is fun. And I hope that she continues to let her hair down. It seems like they're going to continue to bond. And then we get Kyle getting into bed at like 5 a.m. and he's like, hey, which she accused him of a few episodes ago, where he stays out late and then comes and wakes her up and is like, hey.
It's like, you really do that? You go into bed when you're drunk and you are awake and your partner is asleep and you say hello. How are you?
I miss you.
I miss you. And then he's muttering. I guess Amanda's listening, but it's kind of like,
I know. Well, she's been asleep for like 7 hours at this point. Like she has a full night's sleep basically.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm having some anxiety. And she's like, yeah, the drinking probably doesn't fucking help your anxiety. And he's like, why did everything get so bad? I don't understand. And then he's like, let's go to bed. And she's like, okay.
Yeah. He's like, I don't understand you. I don't know how it got so complicated. I'm like, oh my God, it's 5 a.m. and you're talking like this. And also he's like, you seem drunk as hell.
I know. She's like, when she says alcohol doesn't help her anxiety, he goes, I didn't drink that much. And I'm like, you couldn't be more wasted. Like, you're insane.
Yeah. He likes to talk. He likes to talk when he gets into bed, no matter what the hell time it is.
Oh my God.
And then that's it. That's the end of it. It's again, their relationship is on display. They're really going through it. They can't come together in any way, even at 5 a.m. at night when Kyle's drunk. And then Amanda, what I said, she goes, I still love this person, but I don't know what I need to do to get his attention. Do I have to, do I have to say that I'm leaving him to get him to ever do anything for me, and change? So that's where we're left. Wonderful episode. Some partying, some emotional scenes, crying, some fun of them jumping in the pool and doing what are those called, cannonballs and stuff. Like, you got everything you'd ever want from a Summer House episode. And then next week it just keeps on rolling like the tide in the water of the ocean when it comes on the sand. Eventually we get Australian Singles Bash to honor Ben.
Yep. Lindsay Hubbard appearance, and then this Jesse Sierra West situation will come to fruition. It looks like he asks West if he can make out with her, and then in the pool it looks like West goes like, anyone else besides me would think you're such a dick for asking me that. And I'm like, that's what I'm saying.
You're right. I was looking at that and I go, well, shut my mouth. I was like, damn, I never expected West to say something like that. They gave us a new element to the clip that they've been teasing for the entire run of Summer House so far. Jesse asking West if he could make out with Sierra. And now we get West's interpretation of that. He doesn't like it.
No.
He doesn't want Jesse. So it is going to get a little more, there's going to be more turmoil between this dynamic. And then they even showed the moment where that I keep smiling from ear to ear about, which is when Sierra and Jesse are dressed like cowboys and they're going, these could be our engagement photos. And I'm like, oh my God,
right.
I love this. So it's going to come to a head between Jesse and West, it seems like. So
I'm sure she's going to love that. She's like, haha, fight over me.
Yeah. So great, wonderful. Summer House can't get better. Everybody is watching it. I know it. We're really in the throes of Summer House. And then now on the sort of other end of the kind of entertainment spectrum, I'll say, there is a show that is continuing to go on. It's lasting for about 12 episodes. It's called the reboot of Vanderpump Rules, The Late Shift, starring a bunch of new cast members. I think Amy and I are the only people that cover the show. I think we're the only people that have know who these cast members are. It really it really has started to lose steam, if you could even argue that it had steam at the start. And I was a proponent of it. We both. You were too. You just got off the ride a little earlier than me. It's like that mac and cheese that West was making, where it never got to the full boil, and then unfortunately someone let out the steam a little too early, and the macaroni and cheese wasn't finished yet. I'm really kind of tired about how many iterations of dating they can do between the 7 of them.
Yeah.
So obviously, Vanderpump Rules was about dating and relationships and burgeoning love and sex, but seeing it like this so quickly and so many different variations, it really dulls the sensation that you're supposed to get by watching free-spirited people have sex. So it's kind of getting frustrated and annoying towards the end of it. I would say, for me personally, especially because they have like the Natalie and Jason thing kind of start, and Jason's like, I'm all in. I'm on a dating show, and I just found a new partner to carry me to Love Is Blind, the next chapter. I think of things in terms of dating reality shows. Great, I found my partner. And I was like, I don't even fucking care about this guy. I made out. It's like, oh no, wait. Now, and then that's over, and now Natalie's gonna like Shane again, which was the start of the season. You know what I'm talking about?
They lost me at going on the full like blind date show, sort of cover each other in paint date. I'm like, this is a new low, frankly. It's worse than a rage room or axe throwing.
Yeah, I kind of said, what the hell is this? I was like, I like axe throwing and rage rooms fine, but paint room where you're just painting a bunch of stuff and the walls are covered. Could you imagine the fumes in there?
And it's also just such a waste. You're like, great, now I have a t-shirt covered in paint spatters. What the fuck am I going to do with this? Straight to the garbage.
Yeah, totally. It's like, who am I? Jackson Pollock throwing paint around. And it's boring. Their date is so boring. Jason's like, I'm not going to throw her around. Jason goes, I'm not going to throw Natalie around like I did last time. And then they show the scenes of him throwing Angelica over his head. And then he does get a little weirdly rough with Angelica with the paint, where he starts going like, ha, ha, ha. Who does he look like? He looks like some mad artist at the end of it. I'm like, you're a little aggressive again towards Natalie with that paint spray. I was like, what the hell? I go, who the hell do you think you are, Jackson Pollock? And then, okay, so that was boring as hell. Really starting it off on a bad, in a bad place.
We can also announce that Angelica got her new boobs. She went from an A to a double D. Her ex has moved out and she's moving. So it also comes up in this episode that she's reconnected with some guy, and they've been DMing, and she's picking up from LAX any day now. And everyone's like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, you're just really on a rampage to find a man any minute.
Yeah, she's like, at one point, Shane's like, you're already serious with someone else? And she's like, yeah. He's like, it's been 4 days. She's like, well, I'm already picking him up from LAX. And he goes, oh my God, that is a relationship. Yeah, so that person must have been maybe on the back burner. And now Angelica is really, wants someone in her life. She wants someone to date, I guess. I mean, it's pretty clear that she does in some way.
Did you like the reveal that Lisa Vanderpump only gave Venus $500 to decorate for Pride?
I loved it. He goes, as you would expect, it wasn't enough. So I spent $750. But we're hearing all about it. He's like, I got a bunch of big floats and what else does he say? I got a bunch of balloons and floats. And he's kind of, I'm like, whoa, I can't wait to see the reveal. And then they try on a bunch of like bathing suits or something.
Oh, yeah. Angelica's providing bathing suits for the girls to wear. And then it turns out that Natalie's going to sing her track a la Sheena Shea, and that Chris and Jason are going to dance backup for her. So I assume that's going to be next week, I think.
Yes.
Which is the season finale.
Right, which is next week. The backup dance stuff was kind of as bad as the paint thing. It was just so tedious and stuff, like I barely remember that song, Passengers. Like, I love it, don't get me wrong. But I was just like, oh God, like they're going to be the backup dancers. And I felt like it was like real time. Like we had to spend 20 minutes of them learning the moves. And then in the car, Chris goes to Jason, he goes, me and Audrey are doing great again. but I don't know what's going to happen with the summer. I want to be unentangled and unencumbered, so I don't know. Maybe we should take a step back. And I was like, what? We just suffered through you guys getting back together, or you making the case that you loved her and want to be romantic, and now you want to downgrade it again after 2 episodes? I was like, what's happening?
I don't have it in me.
And I also am finding Chris and Jason to be a little less charismatic than I originally thought. I almost do kind of concur with or believe to my first impression, which was it's not a good sign if these boys have been sort of running around the drains of other reality shows and you got them to work at SUR to cast them on this. They just have the wrong impulse. They have the wrong association with reality TV, and they're not so compelling that you're it's like was Sally had a whole reality television run right on Southern Charm, but at least she loves Bravo. That's her sacred space that she always wanted to get to, and she knows how these shows work. These boys don't. They're like, which reality show is this? Dating at a restaurant?
Who's Katie Maloney?
They go, so I'm tired of those. I'm tired of those boys.
Sick of them. We also get a Natalie and Angelica, something about her lunch scene, which I'm like, how do you think that came to fruition? Do you think the producers are like, we know Katie and Ariana, we need a place for them to have lunch. I'm sure they would appreciate that little, boost of airtime. But, it was kind of weird. Like,
it didn't lead to anything.
There was no cameo. There was no discussion of it. It was just like, if you know, you know.
Yeah, it was like we just had to watch them, eat the sandwiches. But if you blinked and you missed it, you wouldn't even know where the hell they were. It wasn't.
Right.
I thought they'd be like, "There's a lot of history in these walls," or like, have you heard the latest of the 2 owners of this place? I've heard that they're doing really well, or just some nod to why you're doing it. But I don't question how it came to to be. Like Alex Baskin was like, wouldn't it be so fun if we filmed it something about her? But the fact that it led to nothing, there's no acknowledgement of it. They're just eating a sandwich. And what even happens in this scene? Angelica says, oh, I know what happens. Natalie goes, I'm eating the Diane Keaton, may she rest in peace. And then she goes, Shane was flirting with me at this party that we went to. And Angelica goes, oh my God, how weird. Should I kill you now or kill you on your way out and stab you in the back while you leave? And then she goes, well, guess what? I found a guy who I'm picking up from LAX, so I'm not sweating it either.
Right. And she goes, well, Shane actually told me that you're not intellectually stimulating, so just know that. And so she's jealous. It's not, I don't care. And then the more Angelica shit comes to fruition at the end. But in between then, I'll just say that Venus and Marcus get a glass of beer, and he reiterates that Kim is going off birth control. And he's like, I'll be ready in 9 months. Like, I've raised 2 dogs. I could do that. And Venus is like, what the hell are you talking about? And I'm like, it's giving plot line now that he brought it up again. I'm like, oh, so it's like not even real. Okay. Anyways, next.
I think so too. I didn't want to think that about Marcus and Kim. I just thought that they were carefree and ready to have a child together. But the fact that they think that this is worth telling everyone about makes me think that they're not actually trying, and they just want to use this for drama with all of their friends.
Right.
There is a climax, so to speak, where everything comes to a head at SUR, and you could tell that they're yearning for the glory days when drama would unfold during shifts. So there is a huge sort of like everyone realizing the information that Shane had flirted with Natalie. But it's not that interesting overall. Natalie just admits that she was never attracted to Jason, and Jason's like, you could have fooled me. I thought we went to that paint date and it was great. And she's like, no. And she's like, she kind of makes it, like, I don't even like either of you now. And Shane's kind of flummoxed, like, what the hell is going on? Everyone disseminated this information and I'm just here kind of having to take it from everybody. But it doesn't obviously even come close to the wonderful moments that we used to have as SUR between cast members that we actually cherished.
Yeah, everyone's single, so I don't care about who's doing what with who, because I'm like, yeah, you're allowed to do whatever you want. Like, none of you are betrothed to anyone. So I don't give a shit.
Yeah, and I also don't believe now because of Jason, when him talking about all those reality shows, I don't know to trust that he actually was falling for Natalie. And we didn't really see their relationship enough, except them making out that one time.
Right.
Audrey, though, what did you think about this? Stand up at the end of it. Were you ready for Audrey's stand up?
Whew, we're just coming off hot of Dana doing stand up on season 8, and I can't even say if one was worse than the other.
Yeah,
because it like wasn't really comedy on either side.
Yeah. Audrey's was probably worse because you have to have been watching the show and know her 6 friends in the audience. At least Dana felt like an actual stand-up set where it was about abstract themes and ideas. Audrey's was like, look at this guy, Chris. You want to hear about him? He's got a penis pump. And everybody's like, woo! I don't know Chris at all, but woo! And it was...
But then they go, penis pump, penis pump. Penis pump.
Yeah, and so it wasn't really, and also it was like, this is my first stand-up, and hello, my name is Audrey, and I was like, I don't really, it's been a while since I watched stand-up comedy, but I don't remember people like greeting you and saying, hello, here's a fact about me. I feel like people just kind of launch into their stand-up sets. It was a little too personal, like a one open mic or one person show. But she does. I did like that she didn't relent on when she's roasting everyone, that she kind of really went in on Angelica while she was in the room. She's like, I got a friend that's so fucking dumb. She just got breast implants, but she is so stupid. I hate her, and she's obsessed with her boyfriend, and I think she's a loser. Anyway, it's Angelica right there in the audience, and it was like full 5 minutes of just roasting Angelica to the point where Angelica has to leave because she's in the front row. She's like, what
Everyone's
the hell
like,
is this?
dear God. She goes, her ex didn't only ruin her credit, but it ruined her self-worth. And then she's like, she's emotionally homeless. She just like keeps going at her in these like very specific ways. And then she leaves and she goes, tell your ex I said hi. Like she's taunting her from the stage.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, ooh.
Yeah, she really wanted to go in on Angelica. Angelica had no idea that Audrey was coming for her for like this.
It was kind of like when Che Diaz did the whole set about Miranda and didn't know she was there.
I'm so glad you brought it up. I will never forget when Che Diaz did that stand-up set. Will you remind me, where was Miranda? Was she hiding under a table or was she in the back?
She was in like a back booth with Aiden and Carrie. And she's like, yeah, I was dating this redhead broad. She fucking sucks. And she's like, oh no, is this about me?
Yeah, you don't. You don't really want stand-up comedy. You don't want to be able to pinpoint it to a specific person that's in the room right there. It kind of is hard to enjoy it. You want more universal.
That
themes.
also happens in Is This Thing On?
Really?
Yeah.
When Will Arnett,
Laura Dern secretly in the audience on a date with Peyton Manning.
and he's doing a stand-up set railing against his.
Well, actually, the twist is, spoiler, that he's nice about his wife in it. And she's actually she's confused because she didn't know he was doing stand-up. That's she's like, what the fuck? But then he's like, I miss my ex-wife.
I've got such a good ex. Don't get me started. I love her. She's wonderful. She's the dream. I don't think she's here tonight, but you guys would all love her too. Oh wait, she is here. Yeah, she's great. Anyway, that's.
Is this thing on?
That's awesome. I used to it's great. I wonder if stand-up comedians like stand-up comedy portrayed in film and television. I wonder if there's they go, they're like, every example is pure shit, but I wonder if there's one movie that they love that's like, that really represents it. Probably Sex and the City and Is This Thing On?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet Pete Holmes' thing did. I bet people were watching Crashing and knocked up, or what was the one, Funny People, and they were like, oh, they get it. You know what I mean? Because who wouldn't get? If Judd Apatow doesn't get it, nobody gets it. And he was part of both of those projects.
Pete Holmes?
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Who's the?
Judd Apatow.
Who's the one who had the Crashing show that was about stand-up comedy?
Yeah, that was Pete Holmes.
Yeah. So I'm saying, I answered my own question, is what I'm saying.
I saw him at the Burbank airport recently.
Really? Pete Holmes? I bet another good example of improv in movie and comedy in movies is that one Mike Birbiglia project that is called what is it called? My Friends
Is
and
this
I.
thing on? Can't stop, won't stop.
Can't stop.
Never say
Yes, and.
no.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Yes, and Don't Say No by Mike Birbiglia. And I have to say, he's going viral, Mike Birbiglia.
Don't think twice.
Don't think twice, because that's the spirit of improv. And he's going viral in my head big time because of a clip you sent me where Mike Birbiglia is having a wonderful conversation with John Mulaney about Frank Sinatra. You saw that clip. One of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Well, anyway, Audrey, I would say next time, let's see it without the recipients in the room. Of the comedy, and see, just a different. I bet people have bombed much worse than Audrey their first time. Could you imagine?
Yeah. Well, it was an unfair advantage that the entire audience was her cast, but nevertheless, next week's season finale, Pride. Can't say I'm particularly looking forward to it, but at least we have Pride, which is something we can compare to the past.
Yeah, comparing is going to be huge.
Contrast.
There's definitely going to be. I'm going to be comparing it to Prides of yore, and will that work in this show's favor? It's to be determined. But yeah, where. So I want to ask you this, because I think that our interest is definitely waning on this show. You could just tell. I mean, that was. Look at that recap that we just did. But is it because was this cast just, is it a cast issue and we never were able to fully love them and embrace them? Or is it a cast plus such?
It's everything.
It's everything is wrong. Everything is wrong. Everything is wrong with it. I've told you, Megan is the biggest Bravo head of the century. And even she goes, please don't put that shit on. I can't stand it. And I'm like, I have to watch it. Do you mind at 2 times speed? And she goes, I don't think so. That's even worse. And I'm just like, oh my God, that is a sign. I mean, Megan likes Southern hospitality, which I can't even stand for a second. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know. I mean, it might be really bad. It could possibly be
I'm
bad.
curious if they'll give it another chance with a remix, but I don't know. That's their problem, not mine.
True. We don't have to speculate on that. Well, let's do what I think is our custom as Turtle Time winds down, which is assess the fact that we completed our goals as a podcast. News, 3 recaps. Three shows were recapped, and I believe there were some hot takes, hopefully some lighter moments. But now I think that has been fulfilled. And now let's move on to the closing sort of credits of Turtle Time. I'll start by just saying that if you enjoyed this episode, and you need more Turtle Time in your life, there is this place called the Turtle Time Patreon, in which it's sort of this oasis of people called the Villa Rosa VIPs that all sort of congregate together on this Patreon. And for a certain amount of money each month, you get access to discussion boards, where you can communicate and talk to other Villa Rosa VIPs, but also you can get access to bonus content that Amy and I do. We have a Vanderpump Rules recap series, and it's actually kind of interesting to be kind of going through the dregs of Vanderpump Rules season 8 at the same time thinking about what's horrible about this new iteration of Vanderpump Rules and how just leagues better the old iteration was, even though it's at its absolute worst in season 8.
I know. They've got me begging for RHOA. I'm ready to get to the next phase here, but we find fun little facts and ways to make it entertaining, I swear.
Oh yeah. There's definitely some facts being found each week. So you'll appreciate that. Movie tier, $10 a month. You get access to the Villa Rosa Film Society. I love when I see new members join that. We talked Twilight in February. That thing is kind of just on its own path. It's
and it also gets you an ad-free version of every weekly episode, audio and video. So that's totally worth it, I think. And then as always, follow us wherever you can find us. Comment, like, subscribe. We also have an Etsy, which we are due to do some new fun stuff, but there's some great evergreen things on there that I think you will enjoy.
Buy all this stuff now, please, or free ways to support is all that stuff that we always talk about, YouTube or whatever the hell this stuff is. We love you all so much. We got to go now. I'm going to be released into the wind. I want to just live a carefree lifestyle. I'm going to go nuts. Amy, what are you going to do?
Yeah, me too. I'm going to just get sucked into the sky and fly away.
I'm flying away. I go about in pity for myself, and all the while a great wind carries me across the sky. I'm ready to spread my wings and let the great wind carry me. We'll see you back later this week. We love you all. Goodbye.
Bye.